Today, we're diving into the world of a 14th century Persian poet, a man whose words have echoed through 7 centuries. His name was Khwaja Shamsuddin Muhammad, but you probably know him by his title, Hafez. And his poetry, well, it does something pretty extraordinary.
Because this isn't just about beautiful verses. We're here to tackle a really fascinating question. How did this man's collection of poems, his divan, become an oracle? I mean, why do people, right now, in our modern world, open this ancient book to find answers about their own lives? This practice, it's called Fale Hafez, and it's the key to our whole story. So to really get how a book of poems got this kind of power, we have to understand just how widespread this tradition really is.
So, just how big of a deal is this? Well, let me tell you, this is no dusty, forgotten custom. For millions of people, it's a living, breathing part of their everyday life.
Just try to imagine this for a second. Every single day, millions of people are turning to these centuries-old verses to help them navigate their modern lives. They're asking for guidance on love, on their careers, on their future. It's a tradition that has literally woven poetry into the fabric of daily decision-making. It's transformed a book of poems into a kind of trusted advisor.
Okay, so who was this guy? Who was this man whose words carry so much weight even today? To really understand the oracle, we first have to meet the poet himself.
Hafez was born in Shiraz, a city in Persia that would become forever synonymous with his name. And he wasn't just any student. From a young age, he was basically a prodigy, completely immersing himself in religious texts and the literary arts. And it was this deep, early learning that really laid the foundation for everything that came next.
You know, the name Hafez tells you almost everything you need to know. It wasn't his birth name, it was a title, a sign of immense respect. It means the guardian or the memorizer, and it's given to someone who has committed the entire Quran to memory. Now, this wasn't just some neat party trick. It meant the holy text literally lived inside of him, and that spiritual and literary DNA shaped every single verse he would ever write.
But Hafez wasn't just a reclusive scholar. Oh no. Legend gives us a much more romantic, much more human side to the great poet. A story that would shape not just his life, but all of his art.
So, picture this, a young Hafez, not yet the celebrated master poet, working in a simple bakery. His job? Delivering bread to the most affluent neighborhoods in the city. And it's on one of these daily routes that his life was about to change completely.
He saw a woman of such captivating beauty, her name was Shaka-in-the-Bat. That translates to sugarcane branch, a name some say was given to her because of her sweet way of speaking. Hafez was, to put it mildly, totally smitten. The big question was, how could a humble baker possibly win her heart?
Well, he decided to prove his love through an act of incredible devotion. For 40 nights in a row, he held a vigil at a local holy shrine, staying awake all night praying. And the legend says that on that final 40th night, his spiritual and romantic quest was fulfilled. He won the love of Shaka-in-the-Bat, and they eventually married.
Now, this story, this perfect blend of the spiritual and the earthly, of divine devotion and intense human love, it's not just a nice little anecdote. It is the absolute key to unlocking the secrets hidden deep within his verses.
Okay, so this is the crucial part. When Hafez writes about the beloved, is he talking about his wife, Shaka-in-the-Bat, or is he talking about God? When he mentions wine, is he talking about the earthly drink, or is it a symbol for divine ecstasy? The answer is yes, it's both, at the same time. His poetry exists on these two planes simultaneously, and this deliberate ambiguity is exactly what makes it so powerful. It's what makes it so open to your personal interpretation.
This incredible complexity is the very heart of his craft. He was a master of the ghazal, a very specific and demanding form of lyric poetry. He wove his deep knowledge of the Quran into every line, used these rich, intricate symbols, and wasn't afraid to call out the hypocrites of his day with a really sharp wit. This amazing ability to be joyful, mournful, spiritual, and satirical, sometimes all in the same poem, is what allows every single reader to find exactly what they're looking for.
And this unique genius? It didn't just stay within the borders of Persia. His influence spread across the entire globe, inspiring some of the greatest minds in Western culture.
I mean, the great German poet Goethe was so captivated that he created his own West Eastern divan, basically a direct response to Hafez's work. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche actually paid homage to him in a poem, and with over 400 translations into languages all over the world, his voice just continues to resonate far, far beyond his home in Shiraz.
And yet, for all that, at the end of his life, his legacy was anything but certain. That very same ambiguity in his poetry that we admire so much today, well, it caused a massive conflict. The religious authorities, who read his verses about wine literally, they deemed him a sinner, totally unworthy of a proper Muslim burial. But his admirers, who saw the divine allegory, they hailed him as a saint. The city was completely divided.
So how do you even begin to resolve a conflict like that? They decided to let the poet speak for himself. In what was basically the very first Faleh Hafez, they took his own book of poetry and opened it to a random page. And the verse they landed on was this absolutely stunning reply: "Do not withhold your step from the bier of Hafez, for though drenched in sin, he is heading for paradise." It was the perfect answer. It silenced the critics and secured his burial.
And that, right there, brings us full circle. In the ultimate test, Hafez's own poetry provided the definitive, final answer about his own destiny. So, if a single verse could settle such a profound debate for its author, it's really no wonder that for 700 years people have believed it holds the answers for them too. Maybe the real power of Hafez isn't in providing simple answers, but in acting as a mirror that reflects our own deepest questions, and maybe, just maybe, helps us find the way forward.